Right now, so could make it today. I We were just having this really great conversation, and so I really want to like get into it. Um, let me do this. Let me do this announcements.
Absolutely.
While you're getting prepared, and we're gonna we're gonna start the show. And so if you can hear us, make sure to let us know in the chat. Um, there we go. Let us know if you can hear us. Let us know if this is coming through for you. Um, anyways, so we'll get to that in a minute. Um, da, 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 da. Yeah, this. Right. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Drawing for Tattooers. I'm James Wisdom. Let me tell you a bit about the network here. This is Guy Atchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Network, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are all encouraged to join in these real-world and live-streamed events. Our aim is to um, share courage and ultimately make better art and tattoos together. Um, we beam out nearly every single day, and with your help, we've become a quality network of amazing live and on-demand content. So let me see here. Wanna I wanna share my screen with you. I'm gonna do that right now. Boom. So here we are, the Reinventing the Tattoo homepage. Um, there's stuff that we can talk about here. Yeah, so you can always find the latest and greatest here at Guy Atchison's Reinventing the Tattoo. Um, we also we have a Roku page. Um, we also have an app, Reinventing the Tattoo, the app. You can find it at the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store. We're also a podcast. You can find us on all the major podcast directories, including Apple and Spotify. We also have a YouTube page and a Facebook page as well. So you can find us on and Instagram, right? You can find us everywhere. So let's see. Yeah, we have professional development courses from 20 world-class tattooers. There's free resources here. So please feel encouraged to check this out. And then of course, the courses, um, it's a la carte, so you can, sort of select things that you're interested in. Um, but let's check out and see what's on the menu. Here we go. So, if you scroll down here all the way to the bottom, you can see the event's schedule, right? So on Sundays at, I believe it's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Skill Building Drawing Group hosted by Jason Leeser. Mondays at 9 a.m. Eastern, we have Drawing for Tattooers with James Wisdom. That's me. That's this show. Um, Followed at 11 a.m. Eastern, we have the Tattoo Weekly. At 5 p.m. Eastern on Monday, we have Let's Talk About Feelings with Robbie Ripple and Dusty. At 9 p.m. Eastern, we have the subscribers exclusive drawing group. Always a great time, So if you're on the fence, you're thinking about joining, you should join at the next trimester when when enrollment opens up. So, so you just missed it, but it's a really great group, so can't encourage you enough. Wednesdays at 1 p.m. we have the Tattoo Now show, and at 6 p.m. on Thursdays we have the Tattoo Collecting 101 podcast hosted by Fawn Baker, and Kyle Bernstein is also on there. They have a lot of guests. It's a really great show. Right. So, really take a moment and recognize some of our sponsors. World Tattoo Events. I got something nice to read here. Yeah, WorldTattooEvents.com is the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. Lots of updates as conventions are rescheduling like crazy. So you can always find out about the nearest tattoo convention, the most upcoming ones here at worldtattooevents.com. I love looking at all the posters and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they're beautiful. Yeah. So anyway, Tattoo Now. Tattoo Now is technology for tattooers, the leading edge in professional development management, digital tools for tattooers of all levels, upgrades competitive with any CRM mailing list software out there. Right, if you want to take your communication to the next level, check out Tattoo Now. Ask for Gabe. Then, of course, we'd like to thank Guy Atchison for being the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo. You can learn more about Guy Atchison by visiting guyatchison.com, where you can purchase paintings, prints, tattoo machines. You can learn more about Guy himself, as well as his story and roots being a painter and his journey through the tattoo world. So, also, me. Here's my website, tattooingwisdom.com. I'm always updating it, adding new stuff, blogging about the show. Yeah, and if you want to like register for the show, it's on here somewhere. Yeah, if you want to register and receive reminders, be on the mailing list for a drawing for tattooers, you can just click this little this action item here, and I will send you reminders every week before the shows begin, so you don't have to miss a thing. Right. Okay. So also, I have a painting website, so you can always check out my work here at paintingwisdom.com as well. So anyway, thanks everybody for that, and on with the show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome.
Morning.
Morning.
How's it going?
It's going.
Awesome. Well, today we have a new visitor today. Welcome, Creature, to Drawing for Tattooers. Creature, so great to see you.
Great to see you.
Great to meet you.
Nice to face to face.
Yeah.
I'm shy.
I get it. I totally understand. I do. And it's so awesome to finally like see your face after talking to you for YouTube for like so long. It's super cool, super exciting.
Thank you. I came on to show appreciation. You guys helped me a lot, so thank you for everything.
Cool. Yeah,
you're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I love watching your progression. You're doing awesome.
Well, it seems like we're not live on YouTube for some reason. So
no, we are not live on YouTube. I just checked.
Yeah, I don't. Well, you know what? When I was clicking the buttons, it was like the wrong number on there. So, I'm gonna we should get Kyle Bernstein on and see if we can get this sorted out. But yeah, please, if probably this has happened before, probably they'll be able to sort of upload it later.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that we are recording it, in some fashion. But yeah, let me text with Kyle real quick, just so that way he's aware of it. He's like, he's also a technical director, but hey Kyle. Oh, hey, Kyle. No YouTube. Help. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, it is still really great to see everybody. Thanks for coming. Creature and I were chopping it up before we started, and it was yeah. And so it was really, I think we were having like this really in-depth conversation, and I was like, oh, time to start. So, um, Preacher, you've had an experience that we were talking about. Would you mind like kind of telling us about, lay out the details as much as you feel comfortable with, and like, kind of give us some insight into what's been going on?
With my progression in tattooing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. How far back do you want me to go?
I think, well, so recently, you were telling me recently that you had um, you are discovering your voice in black and gray, let's say,
Yes.
right? I think
Yes.
that would be a great place to start, like in this on this positive sort of ground of like where you are really, um, like I said, I think we're talking about style, finding your style, getting your,
Okay.
getting
All
things
right.
going on.
Um, over the last 3.5 years, I've been studying a bunch. And Jake Meeks brought up in one of his interviews about how to find your own style and your style of mark making. And to me, it seems that other artists can see another artist's talents and their style easier and faster than the individual can. And I was having that. And so with people pointing out that I kind of have a knack for the black and gray, I see the value pretty well. Uh, it's kind of working out that way. And, yeah. I have like 4.5 years in tattooing altogether, a couple years in the 90s, which was just apprenticeship without touching anything. A lot of homeschooling with the synthetics and things like that. But because I've been following James Wisdom's drawing for tattooers for a year, that's helped a lot. And yeah, so I mean, my stumbling blocks is almost everything I have is in pocket, as we were talking about. My sanitization, bloodborne pathogens, first aid, all my equipment, all of that's in check. It's just I lack experience on humans. And I've been turned down by multiple shops because of that, which is fine. I keep going. I've built my own personal shop and my own waiting room, and the health department's getting ready to come, and all kinds of things. So there's no stopping it. That's the gist of my world, and every day I just keep going at it. I get stuck once in a while with depression and nihilism, where I'm all like, just fuck it. But then I always go back to my whys. So, I got my whys. So when things start to fall apart, I just double down. That's it.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. That's exciting shit, dude. Like, that's super, super exciting. The health department coming and checking everything out, like, so cool. That's so cool.
It's terrifying. Here,
Yes, but it's got to be exciting too.
Oh my God, yes. The one of the philosophers I listen to, he says the cave that you're afraid to go into is where you need to go into.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that shit isn't always easy, but like it's fruitful once you go through it, go through that trial and experience, like it helps out so much. So much.
It's changed my world.
It's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like you said, the depression, the nihilism. It's like we're finding motivation in that, right? Like, like that's the thing. It's like that's where we can all, I think, relate. It's that feeling of separatedness, right? That really connects us all. The separator is the connector. And I guess, it's just sort of like anybody who's ever started a shop, you know what I mean, would have to build it and then have, you know, like you for it to be you know, recognized as like legitimate. It's a process. And so you know, you're trailblazing, you know what I mean? You're like you're doing doing what's right, you know, for you, you know, following that desire. And I think that's the part that we can all, you know, really admire. Um, uh,
Well,
I would love it if we could see some of your skins, right? Some of your practice skins that you've been, if you'd like, if you would be willing to show them, we
would you like a tour of my waiting room?
love a tour. Yeah, that really
100%.
was fascinating. And so
Let me.
feel free to narrate because we got a podcast thing and it's like, you know, it's for a visual show. It's like, you know, sometimes we're all looking at
We
something
have a
and
podcast.
odd. It's like, what are they, you know, what's going on? So
Is there a way to switch the view of the camera? There it is. Oh, wait. Did I do it? I didn't do it. Ah, there it went. So this is
There we go.
my front room that my wife appreciates that I'm starting to turn it back into a front room instead of a practice area because I've converted our life to tattooing.
Mhm.
And oh, this is my waiting room.
That's nice.
Everybody, that's Marv. We
Hi,
love
Marv.
Marv. He's
Hi,
a tattoo
Marv.
dummy. We put synthetic skin on him. So this is my waiting room.
That's awesome.
Oh, and of course darts. Gotta have darts.
Oh yeah, every waiting room needs darts.
Right. My synthetics.
wait a
Oh,
minute,
cool.
wait a minute. Can you zoom in a little bit? Like we can maybe see some of those portraits.
Here, I'll take that off.
That's still such a rad idea though, to have like your synthetics and stuff like that out in the waiting area.
Are you kidding me? Look at these.
They're awesome.
Thanks, man. They're most of these came off of Pinterest and then stenciled and tattooed. Now that one, I love that one. I don't know who the original artist was, but that took 40 hours.
Shit takes time.
In other words. Oh, and I love
Yeah.
this one without the glass on the front so you could touch it. That's what you put on there. Sorry for the glare. A few different styles. So I seem to, as James pointed out, I have a knack for the black and gray.
Yeah.
I'm just really glad you feel that way, to be
Yeah.
honest. You know what I mean? That you know, like that you have a confidence about it. You know, it feels very, you know, it feels more authentic to me, you know, like just that this look at those pet portraits. You're gonna be so rich when you gotta do those things.
I have a client that would like a Chihuahua right now.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
So this one was for my first mentor who tracked me down not too long ago and signed that. And then this happens to be a Mr. Professor Wisdom right there.
Oh no.
What, bro?
I think we froze.
We froze. Are you there? Oh no. Hold on.
How cool is that?
Maybe I can.
And then this one was
No.
from synthetic tattoo course that I complete. My back. Is that better? Hello?
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
there
it
you
was
go.
like
Okay.
there was something going on with your probably with your internet, your Wi-Fi or something. So.
Yeah, that's a metal roof out there. So
Well,
that's the gist. There's a whole lot there. I can go back and try to get a little bit more, but I don't know if it'll
Yeah.
back out.
can almost see it, but it's, yeah.
Dude,
There's my
technology sometimes,
flowers.
man.
Everybody, here's my. Hold on. That's it.
All right. Well, we almost saw it because it was like it was right on the edge, like it was
Thank
right
you
on
so
the
much for
edge.
sharing all that.
Thank you
What
for
we,
letting me give you a tour.
Yeah, no, thank
It was
you for sharing.
awesome.
Oh, I need a stick. There.
So I'm excited to see more of these tattoos on skin. You know what I mean? I think that I guess I see a lot of your work, and and I'm always seeing this improvement, but I don't see a lot of that stuff yet. And I think that that's going to be a real game changer for you. So I really hope that like you were saying, maybe you're like this for whatever reason you weren't like seeing that as the thing that's maybe a just more of a closer to a perfect fit. You know, it's closer to a fit that's like well, that's a sort of it's a like a common platitude that we say nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's like a claim on the absolute, right? Like you could, like
Right.
who are you to say that nothing is perfect? Like how can who are you to say that? It's sort of strange. It kind of makes you take perfection seriously. Now, all right, like everything itself, right? It's imperfect, but it might be sort of perfect in its imperfection. Um, I don't know I don't know how else to sort of like, how to like think that, but I do feel like it's an interesting thought, if you really want to say, avoid making these sort of claims, like, like this person can't do something absolutely, or these sorts of things, if you want to avoid that logic, it's sort of like, then it would follow like you can't say something like nothing is perfect, So anyway, there's something
We
that, yeah,
we
go ahead.
say learn, make, repeat. But nothing is perfect. We can only improve upon what's there and learn, make, repeat. After that, just keep
Mhm.
going.
Mhm.
Just keep going.
Mhm.
Well, that works both ways, right? It's like, um, the perfect would be nothing, right? Like if ever, if it was, I was having this discussion with, with a friend, a colleague, and, we were talking about perfection, and it's sort of like, we started getting into semantical differences, like, a
Uh-huh.
perfect line or a perfect this or perfect that. And it's like, well, how do you define it? And it's like, well, it would be absolute and encompassing. If it were perfect, there wouldn't be any question. And so it's the fact that we can do it at all that there's the space that there it is. Like inside of perfection would also include its imperfection, because it would be everything. But anyway, I appreciate very much, like, obviously, all your kind words. But again, I think I think that to see this progression, like that encourages me to keep working hard too, because I got to stay one step ahead.
Mhm.
I got to keep working hard, right? But I think that's always like um, that's always something that like I always imagined anybody that teaches anything would want, is that like you want to see somebody who you're teaching to like surpass you someday, right? To be uh to be like able to go off and do their own thing eventually, right? Like
Yeah.
like that's what that's what I feel like if you're really in the spirit of like trying to teach, is like that you want you want to facilitate like whatever you can so the other person can do, you know, what they want to do. It's not what I want, you know, for you or for you to do. This is a means to your ends, that sort of a thing.
To help give someone the vehicle so they can propel themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like kind of like the premises of like teaching somebody, especially in like the tattooing industry, is like you want to see them excel, you want them to be better than you, artistically and everything like that. Like that's your goal, you know, to keep motivating them and set them up with everything to where they can just keep rocking and rolling throughout their entire career. Is it easy? No, but the premises of it is awesome, you know. There's a lot of love and care in there, you know, for your craft, and making sure that like the person you're teaching or everything like that is able to share that love and passion for the same craft, and to not dishearten them from pursuing a lifelong pursuit of the arts and stuff like that. You know, because like not everybody has the best day and stuff like that, but you don't want that to affect your teaching and everything like that. But it's teaching's hard. I honestly, like, before I had an apprentice, like I never really thought of like, okay, this is how I learn it, this is what works for me. The hard part for me was to be able to explain it to where the apprentice would understand, because I'm like, oh, you know, you just do this, and then they'd be like, what do you mean? And it's like, shit, I don't know. So having to like rethink and relearn the basics and stuff like that, it's cool because it makes you revisit all the fundamentals and to rethink all that shit to be able to explain it. Yeah, tangent. So yeah, teaching's fucking awesome.
But that was very germane to the topic. You know what I mean? It's like um, it's a work of love, right?
Yeah.
It is. It is. But
Yeah.
that's the weird thing about it. It's, you know, it's like uh, love is tough sometimes, and it can you know, it's not all infatuation and pleasure and stuff. That's not love. You know what I mean? It's actually, you know, can be can be a bit painful at times. So strangely, it's sort of like, you know, like hate is not the opposite of love. It's indifference, right? Being indifferent to something is, you know,
Yes.
if you don't care, if you care about something, you can love it or you can hate it. They're not so far apart. But if you're totally indifferent, you know, then that's kind of the opposite, or at least that's as far away from it as you can get. So caring about, you know, stuff. Now again, it's like, to Kyle's point, you can't transfer all of your shit onto, you know, onto your student, you know, or whatever. Or the same with the
Right.
student. You know, the student can't transfer all of their, you're gonna do any relationship, you're gonna have a little bit of that. But at the same time, you know what I mean? You gotta try to find some kind of balance where you can not only, you know, like again, like Kyle was saying, like sort of figure out a way that you can explain it that's accessible, but also not discourage or, you know, demean or anything like that, right? It's just kind of a it is hard, it is challenging, it's hard to be a student too. You know, i'm,
Mm.
I'm definitely a student. I definitely am a student.
I thought I knew things until I started to try to explain them to my 5-year-old.
Yeah.
That's a valid like reasoning though too, to like to break it down to its simplest form, you know, to be able to get it to where a 5-year-old completely understands what you're talking about. Like that's a feat inside of itself, you know.
Mm.
So it's hard to explain super complex ideas within just like a few words, you know. It's hard to tell an entire story within just a picture. So
Yeah, no, it is there isn't a right answer there. right? There's always room for some kind of interpretation. So, you know,
Mhm.
you're always, maybe it's sort of similar to like when you watch a movie when you're a kid and then you watch it later on. You know what I mean? And the jokes are, you know, you get you get another level of the jokes,
You
you know.
get all the adult jokes.
Sure.
Yep.
You know. And then and you might even miss some of the jokes that are aimed at the, you know, at the younger audience. You might miss them. They
Mhm.
just like they don't land with you any longer. You know? Just I think that's certainly something that um it's almost it's almost imperceptible, but you know, there's these moments where you're like you know, where you do realize like, oh my god, I have heard that, and that's what they meant by that. Like, that's what they meant by that. So all right, I figured that I would I figured that I would show a couple of tattoos. Well, a tattoo real quick, and just want to yeah, talk about them just a little bit. Let me see.
Yay.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can do them side by side. Hmm. Well, all right then. We'll see if we can. If we can here. Give me a second. Technology, right? It's
It's
gotta be.
Yeah.
amazing.
Um. I think I can do it like this. Hmm. Okay. Well, just to try to make it a little bit more. Right. Okay. So,
Ooh.
all right, so this is a tattoo that I did several months ago, and
Mhm.
I actually showed it to Guy Atchison and got some feedback from him. And you know, like I thought it was nice, but you know, for me, I was like, maybe there's some ways to improve it. So so I honestly was like excited to get, you know, some criticism on it, um, and uh, and so yeah, so the guy came through for me. He was able to sort of give me some feedback on it, and it's uh, and I think what he had, you know, the things that he said uh, were fairly simple. They were like meant to um, meant to enable me to sort of to succeed, right? So there was some criticism for sure, but then there was also some really sort of useful, practical things. Anyway, this was the you know we did a touch up, a little rework, and this was the result. And so some areas that we addressed, sort of adding some deeper black back here behind the flower, and then also like allowing for there to be a bit of alternation in, insofar as like it's sort of dark,
Mhm.
medium,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
it's going to be darker, but not quite as dark as the deepest blacks. And then just sort of you know, working on the outline a little bit more. Um, you know, again, I I still can find some room for improvement on it. I think that it's a lot better than it was, and also uh, I learned. You know what I mean? I learned a lot, and I think it's something that I'm like I am always sort of really critical. But what can be, I think, uh, what I think can be very sort of you know, useful is seeking some criticism, getting some feedback, and then trying to put it into play where you can. You know, that's you're not always going to agree with everything that somebody says, but if you can listen, it might be very helpful. Um, but if anybody, you know, so I got the gang here. You're seeing it. Is anybody, if anybody has any feedback, like, hey, do you know, like, what do you think about doing this or whatever? I'm all ears. So
If I may,
yes,
um,
please.
I like the way you help differentiate between the main shapes, between the dragonfly and the lotus and all of that. That is a lotus. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Okay. I like the way you darkened up around it to bring them all forward, and the dragonfly really pops now. It looks a lot nicer.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely gives that dragonfly the appearance of hovering over everything.
Mm-hmm. I like the foreground, middle ground, and background. It really leads you. It's nice.
Thanks.
Definitely.
I think, for me, it's like, I kind of, I can zoom in. I think like some of the way these lines, they're not really, they just sort of terminate and they're not really going all the way. Like probably, being a little bit more courageous, um, even adding some value in there, very light, very light value. So the skin starts to make a bit of a highlight or something like that.
Kind of like a whole like atmospheric thing.
Yeah.
I think
God,
that
you know what I mean? When you're like, it's like you got the tattoo going on, and it's kind of like, you're like, you get so many things to think about. And so you do want to kind of like turn off and just like focus on the like the application part, Um, yeah, some of I do like it, and I do think that there's some, I do think there's some really successful parts. But again, you know what I mean? It's like I want to improve, and I want to, um, always want to, sort of like compare, you know, what I did last time. You know what I mean? To like where I'm at now. Um, and so, yeah, original composition, right? That part is nice. It's kind of uh, I find it like a like a really um, uh, fulfilling challenge, right? To make your own composition, to to figure out how it's gonna be rendered and stuff. And then take a step back again. Hopefully, get some criticism on it. Um, Nothing is perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. No, any other sorts of any other bit of advice for me here?
I would almost like around the dragonfly and everything like that, the water and stuff. I would almost like seriously go like with like 75%
Okay.
gray down there. Just darken up the whole area a bit just to kind of help try to strengthen the dragonfly's silhouette a little bit.
Make it pop a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah.
There's too much open skin down here that's sort of like competing with the lightness of the wings. Is that kind of what you're
Like
getting
yeah,
at?
like the area behind it, it's just like
Yeah.
the same value as like the dragonfly wings, so you can kind of
Totally.
lose the difference between those things. It's frustrating because you want like there's so much information like in your mind that you want to get into the tattoo, and then trying to figure out like how to do everything. It's hard. But yeah, that's one thing, I if anything, that I would say.
Excellent. No, I think that's well, this is what I was hoping to get was, another, I was able to get some feedback, give it a shot, and then get another critique on it. And I think that's uh, this is exactly uh, the things I need to hear. Is like, it's like keep, because next time, you know what I mean? I'll be more on the lookout for like that simple contrast, that simple positive negative, like relationship. It can be like you were saying, it can be really tough, I think, to recognize it right away. But if if you do, you know what I mean, you might very well yes, Anyways, that thank you all. Really appreciate it. Um, Taking the time out, check me out and stuff like that. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing it, man. Thank you.
And
Yeah.
it's great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
really.
Well, I want to make sure that like, again, that was a piece. I genuinely have like some like I love it. I want to make it as good as I can, but of
Mhm.
course, like anything, it's like there's a what about it? There's something that needs to be improved. There's something that we can do that's going to make it a little bit better. And so having that feedback, that extra set of eyes on it, I think is we could all use it.
It's
And,
huge. It is so helpful.
and Kyle, you're really good about
Mhm.
it. You put your work up for crit all the time, and I think and you're just very graceful about accepting the criticism and just what I mean, and like but
That's
it's
because
hard.
his
It's hard
work
to
is
critique
really
it
good.
because it's really good. So, so it's hard to critique. Everybody here, you know what I mean? And Creature, we just got to see some of your work, and it was so it was just really great.
It's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome work.
Yeah,
I
I like
sent you my
Amber's
skin
watercolor.
from Friday, dude.
What's that, Amber? One more time.
I sent you my skin from Friday.
Oh, you did?
I sent it to your Instagram.
Okay,
Ooh.
let me pull that up, and you all
Let's
talk
see it.
amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves.
It's another rose because I made the mistake of saying in the shop that I hate roses. So for 3 weeks, all I did was rose.
Oh no.
There
Well,
you go.
But now roses are second nature to me. Where before I hated them because they're so complicated.
When I first started my apprenticeship and they're like, oh yeah, I do flowers. I'm like, flowers? Like flowers are dumb.
like,
And then you
flowers.
start tattooing and drawing, you're like, holy shit, flowers are fun. So it's
Mhm.
awesome. And then to go over the same material over and over and over again, like you're going to be able to improve upon it so much. But like the whole like taking critiques and stuff like that, like it's
There we go.
you're painting on something and you're drawing on something for so long that like you tend to I personally tend to miss things and not think about it because I'm like you got so much to focus on like the application and making sure the values are okay and that you're not hurting the skin too much. And then it's like there's so many different aspects with when you're tattooing compared to when you're just painting or drawing that yeah, you're gonna miss things. Like there's so much information there, and it's so helpful to be able to be like, hey, get a fresh set of eyes. Trying to freshen up your eyes as much as you
Yeah.
can with the drawing and stuff like that. Like that can help, but like it's hard because you're staring at the same four walls, trying to make them all perfect and stuff like that. That you're gonna miss things, and that's okay, and that's fine. That's normal, like taking critiques and stuff like that. That doesn't mean you're bad at what you're doing, like one, it shows that you're trying to get better. And two, trying to figure out that communication line because you're like, hey, what do I need to do here? And they're like, they say this one thing, and you're like, cool, what does that mean? So you got that communication barrier too as well. So like there's a lot to it, and it's an awesome process.
I love it.
Well, we've got Amber's rose here, and
Oh hell yeah.
So let's let's give
Gorgeous.
it a few minutes, check it out, see what's
Pick it apart.
Yeah. I love what you did with the leaves, like all those little textures and lines and stuff like that, and the variation in those. Alana, no. Super, super rad. I love that.
Thank you.
It has amazing flow. You did really well. I'd like to know your list of equipment and things that you use to do that.
Mhm.
What was that?
What equipment did you use to perform that tattoo? Like cards and inks and things like that?
I was using a flux machine and quadrant carts.
I like quadrant. Nice.
Mhm.
I did the whole
Big.
thing with a 5.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. That,
well done.
yeah, heck yeah. And just like a standard like 12 like thickness wise. It's the 12.5.
No, it was a bug pin 5.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice.
Do
But a
some of the
10
stuff
taper,
there.
not an 8.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I use 10s all the time.
Yeah, 10 bug pens are nice.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like them.
The depth is great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the leaves really read like, overall dark,
Mm-hmm.
so that so you don't confuse them at all with any of the petals, and I think
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yep,
Yeah, I
that's
would
very successful.
like how dark the top ones are. I don't know if it's the camera or the glare or whatever, but I would make those bottom leaves just as dark. And with that, that'll help push the rows to make it look lighter and stuff like that. Because if like with even like the light areas in the leaves, if you were to go over like say like a 25% gray, just to kind of flatten them out, because like the rose is the focal point and the leaves are just like there to help complement it. So if you take that, if you lower the contrast in the leaves, it's going to help push that rose out a bit more.
definitely.
Oh no, Amber, you're muted.
Oh, where'd Amber go?
I see her, but I can't hear her.
Come back.
Somehow I got muted.
Technology. But what were you saying?
I'm learning how to use the gray wash system because originally in my original apprenticeship, I learned how to do it with just black
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
using the stretch of the skin to control how much ink goes in,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot harder to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to wrap my head around the grayscale system after learning how to do it with black. And I keep forgetting I have other values on the tray to use.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, it's definitely difficult to try to relearn an entire value system. Because gosh, I started using the raw whitewash set, and to go back to like just plain to go back to gray wash, it's weird. It's hard. But yeah, just keep practicing those value systems and you'll get those things down. Are you doing like a 3 drops on one cap, 7 on the next? Like how are you laying out your values?
Full cap, half cap, 4 drops, 2 drops, 1 drop.
Okay. Okay. So for the leaves, I would take the 3 drop and just kind of pack in those lighter areas to lower the contrast a bit, but not like drastically lower it.
Yeah.
That way you can still see some of the detail, but it doesn't take away from the rose. So I think 3 drop would be, it's still going to be pretty light. Oh no, do a quarter. Do the quarter.
Okay.
That should be good. Are you using gosh, what are the numbers on the ink caps? What size ink caps are you using? Are you doing small, medium?
Oh shit. Not the medium.
Medium?
What is
Yeah,
it?
medium size.
Is that
Okay.
13 millimeter or
I think so.
millimeter? Something like that.
Okay, so with the 13 millimeter, that means that it's going to be a little bit higher of a concentration. So yeah, stick with the 3 drop on that. I apologize. Yeah, I would do the 3 drop. And that
That's
would.
good advice. Thank you.
Oh yeah, of course.
Of course, when I go in today, I have no idea what I'm working on. Rob said he has a surprise for me.
That's exciting.
It's also unnerving.
Such as the ways of tattooing, you know, someday you have no idea what you're gonna deal with every day. And
Yeah,
it's
I heard a
exciting.
rumor
And
I'm gonna learn how to make edges with a mag. So
cool, 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 cool. That stuff's so fun. It's so fun.
yeah, because
Nice.
I know how to shade with a liner, but I'm not as good at shading with a mag. I can color pack with a mag
Uh-huh.
like nobody's business, but shading and whip shading with a mag, I'm not that good at yet.
Yeah, it's just shoveling that snow, you know. And then are you going for like, do you think you're gonna try for like the really like traditional like peppery look of the whip shading?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'll find out what's in store for me today.
Please share it next week. We want to know.
I will.
Good.
Well, maybe. It depends on how it comes out. If it's shit,
Oh.
nobody's saying shit.
Well, if anything, you could just talk to us about the experience, you know, be like, hey, stuff
Yes.
and things.
Well, yeah, I think it's very nice, and I also appreciate you know what Kyle was saying about the leaves could be a little bit more contrast, right? Uh, I think there is there's a line like right here. I'm not sure. Yeah, like it's this one right here that
Mm,
like it really kind of it breaks up the pedal. I'm just not sure exactly what that one means. Rather, if it's a part of the rendering,
Mhm.
or if it's another sort of fold or something in the pedal.
yeah.
Um, and so, but I'm nitpicking because it's like I think there's a lot of really excellent stuff going on in it. For some reason, yeah, over here, this one I feel like is styly. Like
Yeah.
this edge right here is styly. And then this one just I don't know. It does stand out a bit. It almost like has a tangency with the leaf as well,
Hmm.
sort of like kind of this S shaped thing. Um, and so I guess it's like I'm not sure if maybe if it was like it would be tricky probably to like to delineate it any further. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like you know too much more shading there. Um, I think there's some of the things that are just stylistically this is a part of the style as well. So um, I don't maybe even maybe another line or something like that parallel to it or something follows
Yeah,
the
I
same
felt like that
curve.
too. In the reference, there wasn't a lot of detail in that part of the pedal, and I felt like I should have rendered at least some kind of light gray in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want it to get lost in the inside of the pedal.
Totally. Um, hey everybody, we got Jason Leeser.
Hey, super
Hey,
old
Jay.
bird.
There he is.
Hola,
How you
¿cómo
doing?
estás?
Bien.
Está usted sí, ¿y tú?
Muy bien, gracias.
Bien, bien. That's about the extent of my Espanol.
Yeah, me too.
Well, hey Jason, good morning, and we were just checking out Amber's Rose here. Given some, we were doing some crits today. Um, so if you had any sort of insight, if you want to check it out, give
Definitely.
Amber some feedback. I'm sure she'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I think the first question I would have to ask is, what kind of a rose were you drawing? You have a lot of these like very kind of like stipply, very thin line kind of accented ornamental roses that are out there today. You've got very, kind of realistic roses. You've got hybrids and all types of other stuff. I love roses. I draw them all the time. That's like one of my go-tos. But they can be drawn in so many different styles. Uh,
Mm,
I like what you did with your directional lines, and you've got a lot of movement pulling your eye into the middle. That worked really, really well. I love the texture that you've achieved with the roses and some of those subtle ripples that you've created. Very well done.
Thank you.
I think your drop shadows might need a little bit more clarification. As far as like very distinctive, legitimate shapes. Some of them tend to be a little bit more on the blurry side. And they're not quite as sharp and distinctive. Where if
They're
you
too
had a
timid.
single point light source, it would create a very unique, very distinctive shape. So that might be something that, you know, you might want to look into. And especially nailing down that directional light source, that would create different shadows in different places. For example, you've got a petal all the way up on the upper left, furthest left, right next to the leaf. And I wonder if I can actually annotate on here. Don't know if I can or not. Option, annotate. Here we go. Cool. So right, this leaf right here. Okay, so if it looks like you've got a light source that's coming from, looks like coming from this direction, right? That's to me where it looks like your light source is coming from, based on the darkness of shadows here, here, your drop shadows down here with these petals, over here as well, and over here. So that's my assumption just based on what I'm seeing on your shadows. If the light source was indeed coming from this direction, then you would have a bit more shadow here in this shape, because that would be falling back and falling under.
Yeah.
Right? So I would look at that. You would have another slight little shadow here, right along the bottom part of the petal, from where that light isn't hitting and it's kind of rolling back.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to be careful with that. You would end up with a little bit of a drop shadow here. And then you would have another tiny little shadow over on this side, right where it was rolling back.
Yeah.
This shadow here, this shape, this petal, and I see this a lot with a lot of different flowers. And it doesn't matter if it's a rose, it doesn't matter if it's you know, a lily flower, it does anything with multiple petals. I see this all the time, and it's like, if you just had one big consistent shape there for where that was blocking the light, it forces all of the lightness on the top of the petal to really jump out a bit more. And it really shows the depth there, and it really shows that light source a little bit more directly.
One of the things I have to work on is pushing my darks darker.
Right. Well, we all have to, that's something I work on every day. And it's something I have struggled with for a very long time. You know, I was all about midtone. Yes. Let that line work stand out. Yes. No. I found that out very quickly. That didn't work so well, because I've got stuff coming in now that's 10 years old where it was midtone. And I look at it now and I'm like, oh, yeah. Let's get you in to touch that up. Come on. Yeah, no. Don't worry about it. Like, just let me work on that a little bit more, please. And that's where I would go back through and really kind of darken some stuff up to give it the contrast it needs to hold up over time.
I like all that, Jason. I thought, you know, I think
Yeah.
that was some really great feedback. Very practical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
So I think that's this has been, I think, a great critique for you, Amber. So
I agree.
yeah, you gotta like keep us updated, because we're following you. We're following you. We're trying to figure out, you know. So
That's right.
well, so it's show and tell day today, Jason. Do you have any work you'd like to show? We'd love to see it if you got anything. You know, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're on the spot.
Oh, joy, rapture. I do indeed. Let me see. I think I left my phone in the other room. Hold please. Let me see.
Do.
This is Final Jeopardy. Do I?
Well, so anybody got any fun, exciting projects coming up? Anything that you're really really stoked about or anxious? Hold on, let's see. Give me a second. All right, so creature and drawn a creature.
Nice.
Request.
That's so cute.
Thank you. It was a request.
Aha.
Okay, you know.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
right. Okay, here's Jason, everybody. Let's
Let
check it
me
out.
send myself some pictures to share real quick.
Okay, you can share your screen if you'd like.
Sure thing. Give me 1 minute to pull some stuff up. That guy. And I always have a ton of stuff because I love getting critiqued. You know, as harsh as some of the critiques I have been, I always love them because it's like, cool. You know, now I know what I need to work on.
Exactly.
There's one. We can put up, let's put up two. Blah, blah, blah. Where's the other one I really wanted to get? There we are. All right, so we'll start out with this guy. Where is screen? No. There. Yes.
Oh,
Oh.
nice.
Wicked.
We
Now
can
there's some
zoom
nice
into-
contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple spots in here that I wasn't really a big fan of. And I'm always my own worst critic when it comes to this stuff because like I know where every problem is. And I'm not afraid to admit that, you know, I'm still on a learning journey. I'm not afraid of that aspect of things. You know, but it is something that, you know, I know takes constant work. For example, the inside of the ear could be darker. I understand that. You know, I think I've got some of the values over by the eye pretty well. I probably should have extended out the drop shadow by the flag a bit more. Really focused on keeping, you know, the shadows very deliberate in the flag. I think definitely should have worked on that. Maybe some more of the value in the top of the head. Definitely increasing the contrast in the top of the dark blue field of the flag. Smoothing out some of the grays. If I had another pass, I'd go through and smooth some of them out. You know, just working on some of the shadows as far as really deliberately pushing and pulling, like over here and here should probably be just a shade darker. This fold over and shadow here should be a bit darker. You know, same thing with down here. That should probably be a bit darker. I've got a lot of mid-tone and a lot of light tone. But, you know, it's like, okay, I really need to start pushing those blacks. More contrast on the inside of the mouth. I should have brought that down at least another level or two. Yeah. I mean, those are just some of the things that I see right off the bat, but you know, I'm definitely open. Give me feedback, give me suggestions, give me knowledge.
He
Well,
pointed out everything I would say.
go ahead, preacher. What are you saying?
I said you pointed out every single thing that I was going to say.
Yeah.
Well done.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
Um,
I like the way the folds are on the flag. Well done.
Thank you.
It's a great design.
I really love how it fits that part of the cap.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I ended up going through and I was working on the design, and I was working off of like a stock photo as my like general concept for the flag, and ended up cropping out a whole bunch of it at the top because I knew I needed to fit a more domed kind of shape, more rounded,
Mhm.
you know, something almost like a reverse teardrop, right? So it would be very rounded at the top and then kind of taper down at the bottom. Worked great with the wolf's lower jaw. That automatically created my bottom portion. And you know, initially he was thinking, yeah, you know, I was thinking about having it, you know, kind of draping all the way down behind it. And I was like, no, not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would almost leave like the stars. I would leave at that value, that
Okay.
area, the dark, the blue, and then I don't know, because it's like it's almost like fighting for what's the main focal point? Is it going to be the flag or the wolf? What do you feel?
So that's something I was struggling with. And that hindsight being 2020, I should have made the flag a little smaller, or I should have clarified, you know, what was my major focal point, right?
Mhm.
It's not something I originally clarified during my initial consultation, and that was my fault. So I
Mhm.
ended up with two shapes that are about equal size and two
Mhm.
subjects that are equal size. And
Mhm.
that kind of throws off the whole balance of the piece,
Mhm.
because you've got two equal sized elements and they're both competing for attention, but your eye tends to get, in my opinion, pulled more towards the bottom portion where you have a lot more smaller things and a lot more detail. So, I mean, that's just initially like if I look away and then look at it, my eye gets pulled down.
Mhm.
But that's just kind of what I see. But
Mhm.
I think he wanted the emphasis to be on the wolf's head.
Okay.
Pretty
Okay.
sure that was supposed to be our initial like
Yeah,
primary point of
oh shit.
emphasis.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. The only one thing that just stands out to me is like on the snout, the lower the contrast of it, it kind of it goes in with the same value as the flag. So you kind of lose his snout a little bit, but like there's not much you can do it now unless you wanted to like pack over some like lighter gray just to kind of try to get it towards like that higher contrast area as like around the eye, kind of something similar to that. I would see that maybe pushing out the wolf a bit more, and showing that variance between the wolf and the flag. So I think that like the contrast and everything on the flag is spot on. Like I think it's awesome. I think it's really, really good.
Yeah.
I like how it's like you have a bunch of midtone, like especially coming around on the side, and then you have that one area right there where it's super light. Like it's so good. It's so good.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think those are really good sort of notes to take. Um, the thing that stood out to me, um, I think right away it's I feel like this might be kind of where Kyle was pointing at, and it's a really dark mark here in the in the furrows of all of the the snarl, and it's almost the darkest spot
Right.
in the whole piece, right? It's like right
Mhm.
there. It's like and so I could imagine it being like a it's there's some shadow, maybe there's even a pattern, but that would if like if that bit was a little bit lighter, I think what it would help is like sort of indicate the difference in the plane change. So it's like the top of the nose is a plane, and then we've got the front of the nose, the snout, and then the sides and stuff. Um, and then there's I think also I might also say you could push the shadow where the brow is, because you know dogs and wolves kind of have they have expressive brows. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's like
right.
not every animal has it. People have it, and they have it too. Um, the only other thing that I think could, that I would suggest, and I think that it's again, there's like we've talked about all the successes. I think there's a lot of really interesting textures. Um, and Harriet's in the chat. She says the golden eye is like constantly drawing the attention. I couldn't agree more. It's very eye catching. Um, so
Yes.
so I think that's also another positive. Um,
Mm-hmm.
something that I something that I think is it's a good thing to keep in mind is like, so of course, like the shapes of the shadows, but also the edges of shadows, because there's basically two different kinds of shadows, as we know, and that's either a shadow that's being cast or a shadow that's like describing a form. So the edge of the form shadow, you know what I mean, like the one that's like right here. I think if I don't know if I can annotate. Maybe I can.
Should I think you should be
Should be
able
able
to.
to. I should be able to. I am. This is my Zoom call. Come on. Um,
I wonder if I have to like
if
give you a
I
permission to
uh,
It's
oh
like
well.
the bouncer outside of the
It's
club.
been
It's like
it's been so long. Anyway, no worries. So what I'm suggesting is like you can uh probably see my, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. Oh, I see yours. So right above the eye on the flag, right? If you kind of just go, yep, right in there. There's a really nice soft transition of the form, right? So that fold of the flag is rolling nicely. And then above it, it's right next to it here. You've got a really nice crisp edge of like a shadow that's being cast by this other
here or
fold.
here.
Yep, right there. So that's a cast, and then but to the right of it, you can see how you've sort of have a soft edge transitioning into, this light sort of rim lighting that's sort of it's catching it. It seems like the light is coming from the really kind of feels like it's come, in this instance, like from the upper left hand side. Because it's sort of hitting this plane and it's hitting this edge and stuff. Anyways, yeah, so that's just the difference in the edge quality of a shadow. Like a cast shadow, if you give it a firmer edge, it looks like it's a cast shadow. If you give the shadow a round, like a softer transition, then it's like deep shadow to mid-tone to highlight area, that sort of a thing. And so I think just kind of maybe going through and like dealing with any of those edges that you would see, that would do I think a lot for the sort of the way the flag reads. And I don't know, like the cast shadow down here on the wolf's face, you have a nice edge. I might just sort of I might maybe like bring it down just maybe like just a little tiny bit, but that's nitpicking.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think that's like that's almost that part is pretty successful because you do have a nice firm sort of shadow edge right there. Overall, it's I think it's a really cool looking design, and I think also I'm sure the client loves it. The way that this interface of the ear and then the flag sort of, flowing through. That's very, I think that's very attractive. So great work though, Jason. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Um,
I do have another one
That
that,
person likes
I
it
mean,
too.
if we have time
of
for
course.
another
Yeah,
one
let's
real quick.
let's check out one more.
So I got a chance to do, and this is not something I normally do, so it was a little outside my normal wheelhouse. So it was a challenge, right? And I'm not afraid to take on challenges, and it's like, cool, yeah, a guy came to me with this idea. Let's do the things, let's see how it goes. And I told him right off the bat, listen, I don't usually do a lot of these, but I'm willing to. It's not that I doubt my own abilities, but I'll give it a go. He wanted a color portrait of his dog. So like I said, for me, a bit outside my normal wheelhouse, but I was willing to give it a go. And let me see. So it's not the world's best picture, but
Aw,
Cute.
yeah, I got a lot of glare from the photo. And he wanted kind of like a watercolory splash behind it. Once again, not something that I normally do, but all right, cool. Let's give it a go and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, and that's kind of what we came up with. It's the way it came out, and I know I need some stronger contrast in there. That would be the first thing I would say, because this area here and this area here don't really have too much contrast. There's not really anything there that kind of defines the shape. So I know if I had the chance to go back and do it, I would push the contrast there a bit more. And really kind of help define that shape. This lower portion, and I don't know if anyone can still see my cursor or not.
I think
But
we can see. Yeah, we can see. It.
okay,
Yeah.
so I think I have enough contrast in this area to kind of really help go through and define that shape. Same thing with over here, where the way that the photo was, there was a very bright light hitting part of the scruff of the mouth of the dog. So I got a very strong highlight in the photo from that, where my whitest whites are, that in the eyes. But once again, I think I needed a bit of a stronger contrast to really kind of help define and form some of these shapes a little bit better. Yeah, but as always, I'm welcome for feedback, please.
So Creature actually does a pretty mean pet portrait. So Creature, give us one look, would you?
What I would suggest is some muted blues and greens to get the puppy dog's face to pop a little bit off the. Is that a what body part am I looking at there?
It's upper deltoid.
Okay. So maybe some muted behind the puppy dog, and then like you said about the contrast, pulling a little bit here and there, some darker browns, and then in the hair and the fur in the top, and blacks and around the eyes a little bit. And I really like it. That's what I have.
Nice.
Cool.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I don't think it's changeable yet, and I don't have we don't have a reference, of course, but I kind of feel like here I figured out. like right here in the nose. Yeah. So like
Okay.
right there. I think if it's very light. You know what I mean? I think like I feel like the highlight. Now I don't know. Maybe they took it with a weird flash or something like that. That's like totally possible. And a flash. Um, when there's a flash, it flattens out the image so much. So it can really be a challenge. I think um, to sort of discern more of the sculptural light that that would help when you're doing a rendering, because uh, because maybe that was some of the some of the contrast stuff you were talking about. I think here too, see the whites of the eyes where I'm sort of drawing right there.
Hmm.
um it's like it's too bright. I'll undo it so you can see it again. It's like too light, you know what I mean? um like the whites of the eyes, the sclera, they're always shaded by the orbits of the skull, and they're always darker than we think. So having a little bit more, just having a little bit of value difference in there, I think that could be helpful. Um, and then yeah, I think again, it's like I think you were talking about the contrast and stuff like that. You know, Contrast is difference, right? It's not always just dark. That's a part of it, tonal value, but contrast is difference, and contrast is like so different textures and stuff. There's a nice sort of separation. I can see that the like where um, the dog portrait stops, and then all the the watercolor begins. Um, but yeah, I think that I think figuring out like again, where's the highlight on the form exactly, and then also just really reserving that white for rather than rather than exclusively like to make white fur, to just really be judicious with like putting that white ink like as a highlight. And that's just something, putting in the whites of the eyes is always like there's always a temptation. There's always a real strong temptation, I think, to do it.
Always.
Um, but I bet they love it. I mean, I could see somebody being really like pleased with it. This is like kick-ass like old school one down here though.
Yeah, that one, the one below it is 40 years old.
It's
Oh
awesome.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Holding up really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know if you
it's
guys have
like
ever heard of
gnarly.
there was an East Coast tattoo artist named Jack Dracula. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that was really out there.
Mhm.
That was this guy, but he had been tattooing for, since the dawn of time, Um, and apparently that's who did that tattoo. But
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
he was that guy was a character. So
I am yeah, no, I'm so glad that we got a chance to sort of check out some work and to talk about it today. And I'm so glad that Creature came, and Jason, you came, Amber, you came, Kyle, you came. It's Harriet's here. She's in the chat, but
Hi, Harriet.
Hi,
Hi,
Harriet.
Harriet.
hey,
yeah. Um, but anyway, this has been a really fun show. We talked about a lot of stuff. And I think something that like just to sort of touch on what we had. Harriet says hi. So just something to sort of connect with what we talked about last week. Positive, negative relationships, right? You need that difference, right? Which is, of course, what contrast is. Contrast is difference, and so um, that's what I think we were, was really kind of in the middle of everything that we were talking about today, with everybody's work, and then all of the, everybody was sharing experiences and stuff. Um, we got to see some of the work of what was it, Jack Dracula also. So that
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. Thank you, Jack Dracula. I hope you're out there. Um, and thank you all for coming and for watching the show. It wasn't live today, but hopefully we'll get that technical issue sorted out, and it'll be posted as soon as possible. I'd love it if everybody could give tell us who you are and where we could find you. Creature, we'd love if you could kick us off today.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate the invite, everybody. Creatures Cave, everywhere, every platform. That's me.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your work today, and just can't wait to see more of it. Really, I'm super excited. So, oh, here we go.
There's
How's
my
this one
little
turning out?
murder teddy bear.
Yeah,
I think I'm getting scared over here with this.
Right.
I think he's adorable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, keep working on that black and gray. I mean, I think there's really something there, and I'm so glad that you're gonna push that. I really can't encourage you enough. So thank you for sharing it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, good luck on the remodel too. So all right, Amber, you are up.
Thank you guys very much for the critiques. I appreciate it. And I'm going to keep submitting my stuff as I do it, because the more feedback I get, the quicker I get better.
Mhm.
And you guys have definitely helped me get better. My name is Amber Mordain. You can find me on all social media sites under Amber Mordain and at Luxury Tattoos in Egg Harbor City, New Jersey.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your work with us today. Again, it's you are improving, and but also it's I think that it's really takes a lot of guts. Put your work up for crit, and so again, I'm really glad you did, and yeah, you have us as a group that will give you honest feedback, and you also have some really great mentors. So I mean, I think you've got a lot of things going for you. So thank you so much, Amber. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Kyle, let's have you. Who are you, Kyle?
I don't know anymore. My name is Kyle Olson. I tattoo out of Tucson, Arizona, at a shop called Trinity Art Collective up on the northwest side. You can get a hold of me on Instagram, Olson_tattoos, OLSON. And then you can also get a hold of me on the website, trinityartcollective.com. And I'm more than happy to talk to anybody about anything, any project, any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I'm here to help.
That's so rad. Real sharp critiques today, Kyle. Loved it. I loved the insight that you gave. It was of course, very truthful, but also very caring, practical stuff. And so it was you're a really good mentor. So appreciate you a lot.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. No, you're a leader, and so we just we're grateful to have you around. So
yeah, it teamwork makes the dream work. It's
Yes,
it's
it does.
everybody. It's
That's-
everybody.
Thank you, Kyle.
So
Jason, thank you for joining us today. We would love to know your name and where we can get a hold of you.
So, name,
Okay, there it is. I see it.
where you can get a hold of me.
See? Now, for everybody that's listening,
Yes, I did
on the
do that on
podcast.
purpose.
they're not going to know Jason. They're gonna
So
say,
my name is Jason Leeser. I host the Skill Building Sunday drawing group here on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. I work out of the Inkwell Tattoo in Southampton, Pennsylvania. Feel free to drop me a line. The Inkwell Tattoo on Instagram or at Philly Ink on Instagram. If anyone wants to reach out to me on there. I have a TikTok, but I'm never on it because I think it's a black hole of time. I literally get sucked in for hours at a go, and it's no good. So, and I like to be productive. So I'm constantly drawing things, painting things, helping people out with things. Yeah, it's always a blast jumping into this session. James, thank you so much for hosting it every Monday morning. Yeah, thank you everyone, Creature, Kyle, Amber, Harriet, everyone. Thank you guys so much for doing what you do and for the great feedback I got today. So thank you. It's always appreciated.
Thank you for sharing your work today, Jason, and for coming. You know what I mean? It really is like it's. I think that like having people like come on here and you know, just sort of participate is really what makes this a fun experience. And it makes it. I mean, it makes it so much more lively and enjoyable. You know, lectures. I enjoy lectures and stuff too, but like having this sort of, you know, back and forth and, you know, conversation that we keep having, I think is really it's important. Um, but yeah, that TikTok, right? It just sort of sucks you in. It's like, what? Why am I
They might
looking
only
at this
be
shit? You know,
15-second
what
clips,
is
but
the
you will
point?
spend 9 hours doing
I
nothing but
hate it.
looking
Yeah, I hate
at
it.
Uh,
15-second clips.
No, I don't. I same. You can't.
Too
You just,
many
you know,
things to
once you
do
get
in
on
one.
there, it's like you gotta cut it. So thank you for that.
Mhm.
my
Yep.
daughter manages my
Yes.
TikTok, so I don't go anywhere near it or I'll get sucked in.
Yeah. No, it definitely is it's a tough habit to break. But anyway, thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate it. And you know, please join us again. Um, right. And I am James Wisdom. You can find me on the internet at Tattooing Wisdom. I tattoo at Artistic Skin Designs in Indianapolis. Really hoping that next week maybe we should draw something. I think that'd be great. So like, so bring your paper and your pencils next week too. We'll get into something, you know, some fun exercises, maybe we'll draw some figures or something like that. I always love drawing figure. I really do. I think it's
It's
something
great
that's,
practice.
yeah, I think it's something that's really great practice. And so, I'd love to do that next week. And so if you hold me to it by coming, we'll definitely draw some figure next week. So anyway, thanks again everybody for coming. If you're still here, you should definitely hit the like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. But you know that. This has been Drawing for Tattooers on Guy Etchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Network. Again, thanks, Guy. Appreciate you. Get
Mhm.
get
Thanks,
well
guys.
soon, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we'll all have happy drawing